Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the Seaman, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the Seaman's Cinema. Sit down. All right, we'll address the elephant in the room first. My lips a little jacked up today. I'm on the backside of a pair of cold sores, which suck. No fun visually, no fun feeling-wise, and it usually happens about once a winter for me when the temperature starts kind of going all over the place, and if I'm really stressed, that doesn't help either, and all of those things are going on right now out here in Connecticut, man. I mean, we were down in like the negatives, the single digits, 40s, 20s, negatives, 50s, 60s, that then dropped down to like the 30s. It's been nuts here, and my whole lower lip was like, screw you, Seaman, and naturally, there's a show that I'd usually watch on Sunday when this would probably be better. But it's showing up on Friday because the Super Bowl is on Sunday. It's a very smart move. Nothing goes up against the Super Bowl. It's like the one day a year where everybody in this country like can agree on something, man. It's like you sit down, you have some good food, you watch a football game. Nobody competes with it. There's no live events, no other television counter programming. Everything is in reruns typically. And my mom keeps talking about like I guess maybe Congress or people in the government are trying to get like the Monday after to be a holiday, which is a smart idea. Because it should be, man. Like it would make so much sense and make so many people happy. But anyway, I digress because we got TV to watch because of the Super Bowl. And I'm really pumped, man. This is my favorite show on TV right now. The adaptation has been phenomenal. It's one of my favorite video games of all time, so I love the fact that the adaptation has been wonderful. And so true to form, even when it does diverge, like everything that you're feeling or you're experiencing is like spot on. And this is gonna be a big episode. What am I talking about? Why don't you pull up a chair, take a seat? We are getting ready to take a watch and dive in, spoiler-filled, into HBO's The Last of Us, Season 1, Episode 5, entitled Endure and Survive. And for you gamers, you know what that is. And it's another piece of reading material I was hoping we were going to see. I think in the game, that's what Ellie's doing in the truck right before she takes out the porn mag and gives Joel the tape. She's reading a comic book, and later on in the game, she references like the main character's like tagline, which is "Endure and Survive," and something she kind of uses to motivate herself in this fungus pandemic zombie apocalypse scenario. And it was one I was hoping that we'd get to see. I don't know if we'll necessarily see it. I could totally see that comic book coming out around her and Sam. But even if we don't see it, a reference to it would be fantastic. I would love that. And yeah, when it comes to last week, I loved last week. You had such big shoes to fill after episode 3, and they really did a phenomenal job of covering a long stretch of game and consolidating it where you were feeling the things and experiencing the things that you need to experience from that stretch, while also giving your nameless villains names and perspective, right? Like getting to meet Kathleen and Perry, two new characters played very, very well by Melanie Linsky and Jeffrey Pierce, who voices Tommy in the game. Like very little for them. They get like two kind of main spots, but you're interested in both of them. Like, how is Melanie Linsky the leader of this? And honestly, I think in some ways it makes kind of sense, and you can see, and it's, the idea of like a lot of these people are villains of circumstance, right? Where it's, I could see Melanie Linsky being the mom next door, like growing up being like, hey, Mrs. Linsky, you know what I mean? Like, I could see that with that character if it played that way. But in this post-apocalyptic world where things have happened to her family, she's experienced tragedy and wrongdoing. You gotta do what you gotta do when your walls, when your back's against the wall. And that's the interesting thing about this game is, this. I've heard some people out in the world say this is a zombie show. If that's what you think, you don't know the game or the story. This is like we've witnessed through these first 4 episodes. This is a show about family and human connection in the worst possible of scenarios. And it's one of these things where when you play the game, the zombies aren't really the villains. Like that's a fungus doing its thing and people having no control over what it is that they're doing. So when you really start to get into the game, the real villains are humanity, man. When our backs are against the wall, a lot of times we turn to the worst possible things. And Mason and Druckmann made a great point last week where they were like, when you have a militarized like regime come in to try to keep things in order, but there's obviously terrible things going on in there, right? We talked about, like, you saw the pile of burning bodies last week, that none of those people were infected. They were just people that Fed were murdered because there was no room or supplies for other people in these QZ zones. So when you have stuff like that going on, some sort of rebel group has to rise up to try to get them out. And a lot of times they're just as bad, but it's, a happen of circumstance. And it's not excusable, right? But like, it's the unfortunate thing. It's the thing that the game really does a good job of dissecting, is like how humanity in some ways is really the main villain. Some of the worst stuff you experience in the game comes at the hands of people. That's like Joel was like, you get desolate and out remote enough in the woods, you're not going to run into zombies, but people could always be popping up. And that's something that I just love about the game, and something that I think last week did a really good job of teeing up. I don't necessarily know if there was a ton of exploration there, but you're certainly starting to see what's happening. And like I said, I like the fact that, like, Druckmann talks about being able to humanize a villain, and that's something that he does really, really well in the second game, and how he plays with perspective. So it's been fun to see that here in Season 1, because I didn't necessarily think or know that you would. But it's a nice addition, and like I said, last week, it had big shoes to fill. But when you're talking about that other piece of reading material, no pun intended too, that is one of those things in the game that does kind of start to bring Ellie and Joel together a little more, and Joel starting to kind of break down some of his walls. And getting to see that, even though it happens a little bit later in the game, it's important here because you're not getting to play hours and hours with these characters as these characters. You're living it, via the show. So you want that connection to be really strong before you get, onto the backside of the season. And starting to see those walls come down and teeing up what this episode is going to be. I know, like, usually I jump in and try, like, when I'm editing and things, we'll talk about stuff that I missed. But I think I really hit just about everything I wanted to hit last week. And this week, the Sam and Henry story, it's one of my favorite stretches in the game. I know I say that. I feel like I say that every week because this game is so damn good. But this is one of those, like, both from a narrative standpoint and from a combo of, like, humans and zombies. This is a really fun stretch. And as we saw in the preview last week, I think we're going to get our first bloater, which is going to be dope. I can't wait to see that thing in action, like in live action. It's one of those... I think the first time you experience the bloater, it's a little jarring, but like you can figure out, like, you can get a pretty good routine on taking out the bloater at the high school. But there's another stretch when you're in the hotel where you run into a bloater because you got to, like, start up a generator, and you don't even know, like, once you start the generator, you can hear some things. Stalkers come running at you first, and like you're taking them out. You're not expecting a bloater to come around the corner, and you're like, depending on how you've been doing with your resources, you're either in an oh shit, or like, you're just running around, and if you're smart, you can just, like, go grab the key card that you need, turn on the generator, and then just book it and get it and not even fight them. But that, I remember one of the first time I played the game, I was, like, in the room, and, like, zombies came around the corner and got me. So I was like, all right, fine, I'm gonna start up this generator. I'm gonna just chill by this generator. And as they come in, boom, 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 I'll pick them off. And because, you can kill most of the zombies if you have a shotgun with one shot. Otherwise, if you have, like, the revolver, 2 shots, or the regular handgun, 3. But, like, you can put most zombies down pretty quick. And you're in a confined space. And all of a sudden, a bloater comes around the corner. I always compare, it's the scariest moment in a video game ever for me, as far as, like, the physical fear I felt and the reaction I had. Resident Evil Nemesis, when Nemesis crashes through the window in the library, I almost shit my pants. I know for sure I fell out my chair. And that was kind of like the bloater when when he showed up in that spot. I struggled, man. I struggled a little bit with that area. So I'm pumped to see how terrifying the bloater is here. and to see the adaptation changes, right? Mason and Druckmann have already talked about how we're not going to get spores, and one of the things that bloaters do is, they're the bodies that have been in the fungus the longest, and it's broken through pretty much all of their body, creating almost like an armor, so it takes longer to put them down. But the other thing is that they actually create little spore bombs on them that they can rip off and throw at you, which is gross, but also annoying as hell, especially when other zombies are running and you're like, oh shoot, I gotta get, and then you get hit like with spore. It's the worst. I digress. I want to see how scary this thing is in live action, and like I said, I think this will be a unique look at humanity, and how these different humans respond to each other, and depending on who you're riding with, I mean, Joel's already said it, like him and Tess, they've done bad things. He didn't cop to it, but sometimes not saying something is an answer. Like, they've killed innocent people, and it's, the circumstances that you're put in sometimes, like Joel says in the game. I don't think he doesn't say it last week because he just straight up apologizes to Ellie, but in the game he's like, it's either him or me, and that's the reality of this world. And the thing, like I said, is kind of the most tragic, where you're in this zombie apocalypse. You'd hope the world would come together to try to snuff it out so we could get back to rebuilding the world, and instead it's like everybody for themselves. So that stuff is really, really interesting, and especially having the Kathleen and Perry characters, and having Perry be the guy who voiced Tommy. Like, you already have an immediate connection. Like, the minute Pierce showed up on screen, I was just like, yes, let's go. And like I said last week, that I think that's gonna be old me, man. Like, the long beard, the long hair, that's probably where old Seaman's headed. But, adding those characters in that perspective, it'll be fun to see how they play with that. And then, like I said last week, the Henry and Sam stretch of the game. While it is a lot of fun in the sense that, like, in the game you end up... and I didn't get a chance to play this section like I've been doing right before watching because it's Friday. But also, I was home. I haven't been home in almost a month. So I popped down for, like, my off days. I was here doing work. And then, like, for you guys... which I don't really consider work. But then I was at my job. I had actual work like today and yesterday, but remote. So I was like, let me go pop down, hang out at home. So I didn't get a chance to play, but it's a stretch that I'm very familiar with because of how enjoyable it is from the diversification of things that you got to run into. But I hope we end up in the sewers where we should see some zombies. Obviously, it looks like the bloater could be maybe that thing that was under the ground, and if it wasn't, I want to know what the hell is up with that. But it does look like they're kind of coming up from under the sewers into the streets, so I could see a combo of both. And I want to see if maybe something like a bloater and that many zombies, if it drives our characters together, like our enemies. Like, hey, we got to... the enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? So, like, do we gotta be buddies for right now, and then, hey, you just get out of town, and whatever it is. But this is a stretch that, like, really means a lot to the Ellie and Joel characters and their relationship. They'll take a lot away from this, right? Like, the thing I said is anybody that we're gonna run into, probably gonna run into them for an episode or two, and cause it's Ellie and Joel, and they got to keep on moving. So. It's a stretch that means a lot to them. I'm very excited to see what we get performance-wise from the actors who are playing Henry and Joel. Lamar Johnson, who's playing... Henry and Sam. Lamar Johnson, who's playing Henry, and Kevon Woodard, who's playing Sam, who already has me, like, so fascinated, man. The eye paint, the way he was doing that kind of shush, like, almost like kind of enjoying it. There was, like, a little deviousness to it. And like I said, I'm excited to see them kind of work in and how this story plays out. So I'm going to shut up because ain't no reason for me to keep talking. Let's get the episode up and let's dive in to HBO's The Last of Us. Season 1, Episode 5, Endure and Survive. Ooh, all of that rhymes. Of course, we get our commercials first. There is HBO. Ooh, what is this, though? I haven't seen this one. The Weekend. An HBO original concert special. Oh. Can't say I've seen a concert special in a long time, but I am a Weekend fan. Visually, it's about as creative as I would expect at SoFi. So that's a lot of space. Less mirrors in that trailer than his Super Bowl performance. All right, man. Last of Us, new episode Sunday, February 19th. 9 days. That's the downside, right? You got to wait 9 days now.
Is that the QZ?
The QZ. Where's Fedra?
Please help! Put your seatbelt on.
All of this stuff was so well executed. Oh, that was one thing. I said there was no cinder block. There is. When you drive in, someone throws a cinder block through Ellie's window, or it doesn't go through, but it shatters her window. So that was one thing definitely that I missed last week, where there was a cinder block, just wrong window.
He won't stop until we stop him.
And that I love, right? Like, they don't know that Ellie and Joel are there, and they think that whoever it is, if it's not Henry and Sam, they're connected to Henry and Sam, right? Like, go kill them all. This show, man. The show is just doing the things for me, no? And go. Yeah, there's that open Bella Ramsey, Pedro Pascal. I really do. I tell you, it's one of those, like, I typically use this for a little extra talking, right? Tee up the episode, other things that we didn't touch on, or things that I remember. But I really do enjoy watching, like, HBO opens, and especially, like, something like this, like watching the fungus spread, and then as it pulls out, you can tell it's creating, the different continents and stuff. Like, with the music, like, I was saying with Thrones, like, every week. Thrones I was watching on HBO, right? So you got it. But, like, even when, New Thrones was on HBO Max, could never hit the skip button, man. Like, it's so visually satisfying. And then, like, watching, like, Ellie and Joel grow up out of the middle of it there at the, oh, man. Like, just, and, like, the fungus goes into The Last of Us. Just, it's a beautiful open. I would argue that my favorite open, True Detective Season 1. That, all of the True Detective opens, whether you like the seasons or not after Season 1, were fantastic. What do we got going on here? Alright, are we going back? This seems like right after they probably won the QZ. Yeah. Alright, so we gotta be back. What year are we? Come on, give me this. We haven't gone backwards in a while. Ugh. I see, like, this kind of perspective makes them look like bad guys, right? But we haven't really seen too much. Well, I guess we saw the public hangings by the Fedra peeps, and then obviously just the flat-out murder of innocent people, because dead people can't get infected if you're dead already. Which is the interesting thing, though, about the cordyceps fungi, right? Like, it gets into dead ants or insects and can kind of control it. Jesus. Look at me, not at that. Dude, this relationship. We're almost there. 2 more blocks. Stay with me. So this is not so now I'm mad I didn't. This isn't a father-son relationship. These two are brothers, if I remember correctly. Oh, the other thing I didn't look. I was hoping this one. Yeah, okay, this one's like 1 hour and 10. So yeah, it's about what I would have figured. So about an hour worth of episode, which is good. I like that we're going back and spending more time with the hunters.
Perry, I used to be so scared of these people. Now look at them. Did it feel good, betraying your neighbors to Fedra?
Let's see. Mom next door type vibe.
Watching us hang so that you could get medicine, alcohol, fucking apples? Did it make you feel better? Did it make you feel safe? How does it make you feel now?
Perspective, man. Name of the game.
I'm not Fedra. Lucky for you. No one here has to die.
I like that. No one has to die.
You'll do some time, easy. But first, you have to do something for me.
I like that. I like this a lot.
Where is Henry? Where is Henry? I guess they don't know.
She got Perry kill them all.
Kill them.
Yep.
He's with Edel's team.
Didn't take long for that guy.
Well, he was a lot more discreet than you fucking...
He said he was meeting up with Henry and Sam.
I Apologize.
He had a place to hole up in the open city in case things went bad.
But things have gone great. Haven't you heard? Kansas City is free.
Freedom. Freedom.
Hole up. Where?
He didn't say.
Oh.
I swear, I've told you everything I know.
I feel like I've seen that actor somewhere
I
before.
want our people going door to door until we find him.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. How long do you think we should wait? Oh, fuck it. Let's give him a month.
I'm not saying we do nothing. We already got a perimeter around the city. We can wait him out.
He's not my 7th priority, Perry. Is that what he is to you?
Ooh, I'm loving me some Kathleen, I gotta tell you. Melanie Linsky.
Are we really putting them on trial?
No. We are not really putting them on trial. When you're done, burn the bodies. It's faster.
There you go. There's your pile of bodies that we saw burning last week. Just, oh man. I'm telling you, man. Just because there's perspective and you can understand a person doesn't mean that they're not a villain, right? I mean, that's kind of a villainous move, I think, on Kathleen's part. Just killing them all anyway. We're going up. I feel... Oh, somebody's angry outside. I don't feel like this is the building that Ellie and Joel are in yet, so maybe we're gonna ride like the whole first night and day. Edelstein. The doctor. Okay. Snap. Yes, this is what happened the night before they put Edelstein in lockup.
So we're fucked on food. Ammunition?
Empty.
That's not good.
We weren't shooting our way out of this anyway.
No. So we'll sneak our way out. Tunnels?
Tunnels.
20 cans and 6 pounds of jerky for the 3 of us. If we stick to the minimum, I think we can make it 11 days.
Wow, 11. This is 11 days earlier. I guess that would make sense. You saw they ate all the food.
He's scared because you're scared.
Some wisdom right there. I want to say that in the game, their guns that they hold up Ellie and Joel with are empty. But maybe not. See, this is where I should have come home earlier. What dog? Oh. There is one problem, though. This place is ugly. I got him. All the wow, that's a lot of crayons. That's a fascinating twist. So I thought that they were just using sign language to be quiet when they were sneaking around, but it looks like they've made Sam hearing impaired. I was wondering why the doctor was just like talking about him like he wasn't in the room. So that's a fascinating twist. Sam is not hearing impaired in the game. Him and Ellie have a lot of verbal exchanges, and I think they're the same age in the game. So here Sam looks a little even younger. That's wow, man, that's fascinating. And I get like that's another smart change. I'm hungry. Only down to 1 can left. We'll open it later. That's a really that's like I said, it's a smart change, right? Like, what a great way to add a little additional like representation, just simply, you know. It's been a whole day. Oh damn. That means a little kid is coming back. Unfortunately, no, kid. Oh, and that paint, that's where you got the face paint that he's wearing, I bet. Yeah. Making the mask of the suit. It's a superpower. I bet you Henry's gonna, when they gotta run, that's gonna be Henry's idea to make him not scared. That's why he's got the paint on his face. So 11 days and that doctor never came back. Look at that, man. It's a lot to take on as an older brother, let alone the world they're living in. He isn't coming back. I'm sorry. We don't have any more food. We need to leave. I've been watching them. I know their patterns. Smart. We can make it on foot. Did they kill him? Man, probably yes. Damn, yo. It's like it's a lot. You know, it's a lot to take in for a 14-year-old with Ellie, right? Here, Sam looks like... I guess Sam is younger than Ellie. He tries to pass like he's 14 when they first meet. But I think he's 12. This kid looks like he might even be younger than that. And he's getting the idea to use the paint. Make him the superhero. Close your eyes. Not too tight. Don't open. That's cool. Or paint, but it's giving him this superhero mask. It's so cool. Does he have a mirror? Use the knife. I love that we're getting to spend time with Sam and Henry before we meet them. That's a real nice addition. Oh, that's Ellie and Joel. Yeah. Oh, dude, perspective. Like, even just a camera perspective shift. Oh. Love it. Love it. Ooh. You know what I mean? Like, you only saw that, or you heard it from Ellie's point of view. Now you see it from Sam's. Oh. Shit. I didn't realize Joel saw him. Oh, that's fascinating. That was so cool. What's going on now? New plan. That was really cool. I liked how they did that. That's all it took, man. Like 10 minutes. See, when I was home, I watched last week's episode with my parents. My dad was like, "Why wouldn't you pour it on the outside?" And I'd be like, "Dad, what you watched this week?" And see, he did pour it on the outside as well as the inside. Yeah, they got no ammo in those guns. But that's the upside to a gun, right? Like,
Joel.
if you get the drop on somebody, they don't have to know that you don't have any bullets in there.
Eyes on me. Eyes on me. We don't want to hurt you. We want to help you.
Okay.
Interesting.
I don't know what the next step is with something like this, but if I lower my gun, we didn't hurt you, so you don't hurt us. Right?
Such a smart play.
That's right.
It's a weird fucking tone, man.
That's just the way he sounds. He has an asshole voice.
Everything is great.
Okay. Listen.
But, like, also not funny, because, like, in this scenario, but we now know we can trust them. I'm going to trust him. Are you sure?
Yes. But if either of you guys try anything, yeah?
It's a smart play, though, because he knows Joel's a killer. He just saw it, and he knows they got ammunition. And 4 is better than 2.
Slow. Get up slow.
Is great.
Who are you?
My name's Henry. It's my brother Sam. I'm the most wanted man in Kansas City. Although right now, my guess is you're running a close second. Where'd you get these?
From Bill. He's dead.
From Bill. It's a total 14-year-old answer, right? Like, oh, where was Bill before or whatever? Like, oh, from Bill. He's dead.
He says thank you. I'm guessing you don't have one, so this means a lot.
How old is he?
Joel's burning holes through Henry's head.
He's 8.
Cool. I'm Ellie.
Yeah, I want to say he was 10 or 11.
I'm Joel. Look, you 8. We didn't kill each other. Let's call this a win-win.
Typical Joel.
Well, I'm betting y'all came up here to get a view of the city and plan a way out. And when the sun's up, I'll show you one. Welcome to Killer City.
Wow.
No, Fedra. You always heard Casey if Fedra was...
Monsters, savages. Yeah, you heard right. Raped and tortured and murdered people for 20 years.
Damn.
Hey, you know what happens when you do that to people? The moment they get a chance, they do it right back to you.
But you're not Fedra.
Worse, I'm a collaborator.
I don't work with rats.
Yeah, you fucking... Today you do, because I live here and you don't. That's how I followed you here. I know the city, and that's how I'm gonna help you get out.
Why help us?
I saw what you did, where you killed those men.
See?
I know where to go, but I don't know how to make it through alive. Not if it's just me and Sam.
You seem capable enough. You're armed.
And wrong.
Wrong and wrong.
Never killed anyone. And pointing an unloaded gun at you is the closest I've ever come to being violent. So that's the deal.
I don't think... Well, I guess you don't know anything about, like, collaborators or stuff like that in the game, because you don't have any story for the hunters. They're just there. So I like the levels of different people. Oh, yes. See, they are bonding over the comic book. Yes.
I haven't heard that in a long time.
So how are we getting out?
You can see Joel, like, all right, this is the only play we have, but now I'm responsible for 2 more people.
Highways. Downtown. Us. This whole area belongs to Kathleen, leader of the resistance. You can see the way we're bounded by highways. They got people posted all around the inside perimeter. We get close, we get caught. So how do we get across?
How do we get across? Oh, that's why he has... So that's how he'll be able to... I didn't like, put together that. Tunnels.
Kansas City has a subway?
No, but they do have maintenance tunnels. There's a bunch of buildings all put up by the same developers. So we enter the tunnels here, travel underground, pop up here. There's an embankment on the other side of the houses. We head down, pedestrian bridge over the river.
Gone.
Free as a bird.
Yeah, you're right. It's a great plan. So what do you need me for?
Zombies. Or infected.
Oh, there's infected, just not on the surface. Fedra drove them underground 15 years ago and never let them come back up.
So you want us going into a tunnel?
Everyone thinks that it's full of infected. You see, what I know is, it's empty.
You've been down there?
No, but the Fedra guy that I worked with told me that it's clean. They cleared it out, all of it.
When?
It's not gonna be true, though.
3 years ago. Okay, maybe there's 1 or 2, but you handle it.
You handle it.
Those blind ones that sees like a bat?
Wait, you ran into a clicker,
2 of them.
and you're still alive.
It's like you...
You're the right people. If it gets bad down there, we turn around and run right back out the same way we came.
Oh, that's your great plan?
No, that's my dicey as fuck plan. But as far as I could tell,
It's the only plan you got.
it's our only shot.
What are they saying?
They're saying they're going to help us escape.
That's great. Ellie already has formed a little attachment with Sam.
We need to get out of sight.
I think it's just...
You think? Oh, come on, Henry. Gotta do better than think, my guy.
This should be it.
Here we go.
Get your gun out.
Not quite her pack, but also probably not gonna shoot her ass off in her pocket like that. Oh, baby. What is in store? I know. Maybe.
See? It's empty. The plan is good.
Plan is good. We've been down here 2 seconds. We don't know anything.
That's kind of a pessimist.
I'm not
my
a guy.
dad.
I was gonna say, if this really was full of infected for like 15 years, like how do you not explain spores? I'm so fascinated to see how they're gonna work spores into season 2 and not have them present anywhere 20 years in, right? Like that's something that would have existed because it's the best way for the fungus to spread. But the fact that the tunnels are indeed empty, you know, there wouldn't be spores down there, so that's chill. We know there's something down here, man. Saw that shit rumbling last week. Wow, yeah. I did see this in the trailer, but they're gonna do the whole thing. There's like a little community of people who are living underground down here. This is like the school. Sam's like, yo, right?
No.
Job, Joel. These two won't get through this without him. Fuck, man, being responsible for 3 people? So yeah, so in the game, you travel through the suburb stretch, I think, first? But like you pick up notes and things as you go through the game, and you get notes from people in the surrounding suburbs that are connected to these people, so it kind of tells you a story of people who were like, found each other, kind of came in.
People went underground after outbreak
Yep.
day. Built settlements.
What happened to them?
Maybe they didn't follow the rules and they all got infected.
Yep. That's what happens. One of them leaves, someone gets infected, comes back down. And that'll be the zombies that we're going to run into at some point. Our protectors. Oh, I think those are the 2 names. Oh, there it is, baby. Savage Starlight.
No way.
Let's go.
I love these.
Yes. Oh, so that wasn't, they were reading something. Oh, maybe, I thought they had a comic book.
I have issues 4, 5, 6, 11.
Nice. Oh, that's freaking great. Again, I'm using the other reading material. I have 5, 6, and 8.
Ah, so cool.
The, you know, like use to bring people together.
To the edge of the universe. And back. Endure.
And survive.
Survive. Endure. Survive. Endure. Survive. Fuck yeah.
Keep it down, we're not out yet.
I freaking love
Can we
Ellie.
just rest here for a while?
Got a goal back
There's like
there.
actually shit to do here.
Wouldn't be so bad to wait the light out a bit.
Ellie's like, give me an hour to be a kid, right? And coming off what she's coming off of, she needs this.
Yeah.
I was wondering how they were going to find that bond for the 2 of them, especially with him being deaf. So this is like having time to chill and bond. This is great.
If you were collaborating to take care of him,
I understand.
I shouldn't have said what I said. I don't know your situation.
I love freaking Joel's accent, by the way. I don't know if I've said that yet.
All things considered, seems kind of cruel to send a whole army after you for that.
You know, I wasn't exactly telling you the truth about me not killing someone.
Oh, he did.
Sam, he got sick. Leukemia.
Oh, damn. That's why the doctor.
There was one drug that worked, and there wasn't much left of it. And it belonged to Fedra. And if I wanted some, I was gonna take something big. So I gave him something big.
Oh, damn.
The leader of the resistance movement in Kansas City.
Kathleen's brother.
And Kathleen's brother.
Damn.
Yeah, so still think they should take it easy on me? Or am I the bad guy?
I love that they're talking about perspective in this episode. That's amazing.
I am the bad guy because I did a bad guy thing.
The other thing they're having the conversations we're having in the show. Come on.
But you get it though. You might not be her father, but you were someone's.
We waited long enough.
Is this their room?
What about the man who killed Brian?
Some kind of memory here.
Well, we're not doing so good. Who told you I was here?
Your mom.
Why are you talking to my mom?
We didn't know where you were.
Have you been back to the room you grew up in?
No, fuck.
Huh.
It's a couple 100 miles away. It's not exactly worth it.
Right.
I would.
When Michael and I were little, this room seemed so big. I was really scared of thunder. So when there was a storm, Michael told me that this wasn't a room at all. That this was actually just a big wooden box. A big wooden box that nothing could get inside of. And it didn't matter if there was lightning or tornadoes or gunfire. He said as long as we were together in a perfect box, we would be safe. He did that for me. He did stuff like that all the time. He was so beautiful. I'm not. I never was. He would be horrified by the things I've done. And if you've come to tell me that Michael wouldn't want me to hurt Henry, I know that too. He told me. In jail, he told me to forgive. And what did he get for that? Where is the justice in that? What is the point of that?
Your brother was a great man. We all loved him. But he didn't change anything.
You did.
You did. We're with you.
Good.
I swear, Melanie Linsky being able to spin her emotions on a dime, I think is helping me keep mine in check. Oh man, that was me and my sister. We shared a room. Similar, but my mom, instead of doing like half blue, half pink, it was like we had a pink bottom and a blue top, and we had Minnie and Mickey Mouse wallpaper that kind of divided the two colors. It was like being in that room, just bringing. I ride with Kathleen on a different level now, and again, perspective, man, right? But the way that Linsky was able to flip that on a dime like that was great.
No one's gonna be here because my plan worked.
Too much goddamn talking.
Just saying. I delivered. Make this right. Go down the street. Embankment behind the last house.
What are they gonna pop into? You know something's gonna go sideways.
Where are you gonna go?
Don't know yet.
Well, we're going to Wyoming. Yeah, this is a huge state. It can fit 2 more people.
It's a steak fit.
Maybe we just call this one a success and say our fond farewells.
No, he'll change his mind. Trust me. This is how it goes. He's like, no, Ellie, never. I'm gonna ask you a million more times, and he's like,
Yeah, get down.
Go! The fuck is that coming from?
Shut up.
Oh, there it is. Oh man, dude, wow. The way they adapt this game stuff is so good. I completely forgot about this stretch. This takes place during the daytime in the game. Also, when you're in the tunnels, there are a shit ton of... You run into all the people that were in that settlement are zombies.
You don't move, he's not gonna hit you.
Again.
Go around, try to get in the house through the back, and then I'll take him out.
but if you go out there, he's gonna kill you.
It's dark and he has shit aim, nobody's gonna kill
Then
me.
he's gonna kill us.
Do you trust me?
Yeah, trust them. But this happens in the game. Joel says, you 3 stay here, and you gotta go sneak around, take out all these people, and eventually get to this guy who ain't a terrible shot. You'll get hit a couple times in the game. But again, like I said, this isn't a zombie show. So like, I don't mind that the tunnel plan worked right away and get you here quicker. This is a legit mission in the game. Oh my God. Just that's the gunshot sound, man. There are a bunch of dudes in your way getting to this guy, but like, oh man. And when you get to the house, you don't know if he can hear you or not, man. So like, is he gonna be waiting on you? He's still shooting at. Like, why would you be wasting the bullets? The 3 of them aren't moving, right? It's an old man. Didn't see that coming.
Put the gun down, slide it over to me, and then stay up here for another hour. That's all you have to do. Please don't do it. Please.
That old man want to die. Fascinating. Now, the next piece in the game is that guy was a hunter, and when Joel's up there, there's about, I want to say, the zombies start coming. Oh, shit. Is that Kathleen?
Anthony, hold them where they are. We're almost there.
Oh, he is one of the hunters. But yeah, in this stretch of the game, people start coming, and then behind the people are the zombies. And you're up as Joel, you gotta start sniping. Man, they are crushing this
Why do
episode.
you think you're in front?
Ugh.
Clear them.
I just wish there would have been a couple zombies down in them sewers, but I think we're gonna get some freaking crazy zombie action on the backside. Like, you trade me the sewers. Holy shit. Come on, Joel. Run! Come on, Joel. Oh no, it jammed. Run, 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 Ellie! Come on, Joel! Get him, get him. Oh, Ellie's out of bullets. Need it. Ah, boy. Oh! Run, Ellie. All the hunters. Woo, here comes the fire. Jeez, Ellie. Yo, what? I don't know if that was CGI, like, explosive stuff, but it looked like one of the pieces was real damn close to either Ellie or her stunt double. Good works, Henry.
Okay.
So we are gonna end up though in the situation like, is your enemy your friend? To get past all these, you know these zombies is coming, bruh.
Dead end, Henry. You want to step on out? Save us some time? No? That's all right. Doesn't matter.
Come on.
I'll come out.
No, Henry.
Just let the kids go.
No, sorry. The girl is with the man who killed Brian, and Sam... Well, Sam's with you.
You don't understand.
But I do. I know why you did what you did. But did you ever stop to think that maybe he was supposed to die?
He's just a fucking kid.
That's some heavy truth to throw.
Well, kids die, Henry. They die all the time. You think the whole world revolves around him?
What's Joel gonna be able to do?
Is what happens when you fuck with fate.
Get ready to take him and run. Yes, do it.
It's time, Henry. Enough.
Come on, man. I need that bloater to show up right now. Oh, my God.
It ends the way it ends.
Oh, my God. Brilliant timing, Mr. Bloater. Yeah, that's not good. Oh no. That's very deep. And that sounds like a lot of zombies. Let's fucking go. Like I said, man, the tunnel. Oh my God! They came out of there so fast. Oh my God. There are so many of them. Oh my God. Oh yeah. Just like in the game, Joel got to pick off the zombies to keep the kids safe. Nail it. Oh, good job. Oh, she's gonna go crawl. Yes, come on, Joel. Yo, dude, there's people who've been waiting for zombies. You're getting them here. Get in there. Oh, good job, Ellie. Joel is a hell of a shot. Oh, God. I kind of don't want Perry and Kathleen to... Oh, here he goes! Let's go! Let's go! Oh, Perry, he wasn't even looking at you, homie. Oh my God, look at it go! Look at it go! Yeah, run!
Find cover. Don't look back.
Oh, God. Oh, Perry. Hey, you know what? J. Pierce. Oh! That is game death right there, only they cut it off. Oh, no! Come on, Joel. Oh, it's a kid clicker that's effed up. These are the, this is the colony of zombies that live, like all the people that were down there. Which includes kids. Oh my God. Ellie, run. Oh God. God, he's a great shot. Ellie got her knife. Yeah, she does. We haven't seen her use that yet. Woo! Oh no! Yo! Ellie, had a girl. Oh, freaking Kathleen, come on. Ends how it ends. Yo, that little girl clicker. Oh my. Like, I feel bad, right? Like, you can understand where Kathleen's coming from, but like Henry said, right? Like, he's a bad guy because he did a bad guy thing. Kathleen's a bad guy because she was gonna do a bad guy thing and probably has done lots of bad guy things. That was freaking phenomenal. Like, repeat, like, oh, that was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
You think they'll be okay?
Yeah, I think it's easier when you're a kid anyway. You don't have anybody else relying on you. That's the hard part.
I guess we're doing a good job then.
What's that comic book say?
Endure and survive.
Endure and survive. That shit's redundant.
Yeah, it's not great. Look, I don't know exactly how I'm getting to Wyoming. I'm probably walking. But, you know, if you want to...
Yeah. Hey.
Right, we can keep reading.
I read you. Okay, from here.
Are you ever scared?
Do I not look scared? Never.
Scared all the time.
I'm scared all the time.
Could be a writer. Pretty sure that's a conversation that I want to say this is a combo that they have in the game, or something similar.
Scorpions.
I'm scared of ending up alone. What about you?
It's still you.
Turn into a monster, is it still you inside? Oh, shit. He showed her. And they're doing the whole thing.
My blood is medicine.
What? No, that's not how that works, Ellie. Is that how that works? Stay awake with me.
I promise.
It's in a totally different way with Ellie knowing before the morning.
Hey.
No. I gotta do the whole thing.
Ellie. Are you okay? Easy. Henry, give me the gun. Henry, give me the gun. What did I do? Give me the gun. Give me the gun, Henry. Give me the gun.
Oh, I knew that was coming. I wasn't sure they would do it like that. Oh, man. There's like a part of me that was kind of hoping that maybe they wouldn't. Oh, fuck.
Which way's west?
Let's go.
I tried with Sam. I wanted to save him.
Well, I reckon it's a lot more complicated than that. I'm looking for my brother.
Finally.
Tell me, those things that you judge me for, how did those things to keep us alive?
We did those things. They weren't things. We murdered people.
Be careful who you put your faith in. The only people who can betray us are the ones we trust.
The narrative function of Henry and Sam was to show a mirror image of Joel and Ellie. Brother that's almost like a father to Sam. A person that's willing to do anything to protect his brother.
It's like the next piece that Joel needs, you know? Oh, God.
Sam and Henry are another example of this duality that we encounter, who are bonded together not only because they're the only family they have left, but because they also speak a language that very few people speak.
Such a genius ad, man.
When we had a deviation, Craig would always call me. He's like, okay, I've been thinking about Sam, and hear me out. I know it's a big change, but what if he were deaf?
Such a genius move, man.
And it's a way that Sam has to rely on Henry even.
Yep.
And I said, that's so good, it makes me upset that I
Right.
didn't think about it.
Right? Oh, yes. I was hoping that Kevon Woodard was hearing impaired. Oh, it makes that... Oh.
Leading up to getting the role, I did not know ASL.
Oh,
Lamar and Bella picked up ASL in an instant.
Interpreters, the CJ and Kevon in this film, they were so willing to help anyone who wanted to learn.
So awesome.
In the end, all the crew were signing.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Communicate and let them know how great they were.
Oh, it's amazing. Sam is deaf, and I am deaf. We both sign. So I mean, like, seeing how deaf people are and how they navigate the world, they can, I think, is important. God.
We go into the sewers and we see that there was like a whole community down here that has perished. You get to appreciate how different groups survive. For fans of the game, when they see that drawing of Ish, they know this whole other story.
Yep.
This didn't happen in this world. In the game, you could pick up notes.
Thank you, Druckmann. That's what I was talking about. Oh.
It's one of those few moments of pure innocence when you're seeing them laugh. Very rare in this world.
Sam definitely does bring out a childlike energy in Ellie, and I think that naturally came just through working with Kevon.
Oh, man.
He's responsible for Kathleen's brother's death because he was saving his own brother. And so...
Dude, Craig Mazin is such a genius. Man, like...
How many people will you sacrifice? How many people will you burn to protect the one you love?
Kathleen would say her absolute moral code is one of her strengths. I think it's one of her weaknesses. You need to have empathy for the positions that people are in.
Yep.
For a show that has monsters in it, we don't have a lot of monsters because there's no gameplay when you're watching a show.
That's what I keep talking about, right? Like, the monsters are the gameplay.
Feel for the first time just how humanity lost. Because look at what's
Yeah,
up
right?
out of the ground.
Like, we've only... Like, look at how fast they are, man.
Affected, we realized that we had the largest amount of...
Jeremy Webb crushed these 2 episodes, by the way.
In contact with Terry Notary, who does a lot of work with movement on the planet the Apes. He set up a special infected boot camp
awesome.
with stunt and movement people.
Yeah, the stunt guys and Webb, phenomenal.
Have everything from a swarm of infected to clickers. There's a bloater.
Oh my god, dude, the bloater was perfect. I hope they asked Jeffrey Pierce about his finish.
A child clicker. She was warned about a danger lurking in a basement. She turned away from it because she just wanted to chase after Henry and make sure she got vengeance. Maybe it's for the best. I don't think she's a person who could have found peace.
Oh, that's an interesting look. Oh, I was hoping they were gonna let Jeffrey talk about getting ripped apart by a bloater. God, I can't relive this.
Made it very clear that you cannot escape fate in this regard. And that in fact, the more ruin and hurt you cause to protect this person, the more brutal it will be when you lose anyway.
Ellie tries to heal Sam with her blood. To her, it was her chance to be this hero that she'd been promised that she was. And she was so desperate because also the relationship that she'd built with Sam.
It was really tough for me to film the scene.
I can't imagine.
Sam is so important to Henry. Once he lost Sam, Henry felt as though there wasn't more
left
live for.
What did I do?
And I think it really affects Joel and Ellie moving forward in the story.
Oh, man, well done, Lamar. It's exactly what it does.
This is where Joel is beginning to understand what's happening inside him. Because it's been 20 years since there was anybody in his
mattered.
like a Sam that would ruin him if he were to lose them. And he doesn't quite know how it happened, but it has begun to happen now with Ellie. When he sees what happens here, all he can think is, that's going to be her.
Yep.
And it terrifies.
Yep. Yeah, you know, and it is one of those things where, like, first off, Craig Mazin, like, hats off, man. Like, when I talk about representation, you know, and we live in a world where, you know, representation's forced down our throats. You know, whether you're someone like me who loves to see representation everywhere, someone who doesn't, someone who's in the middle. I think any spectrum of what you look for and what you're watching, a lot of things force feed this stuff to us, right? It's, oh man, you know what? Let's not get called for whitewashing. Let's make sure we get, you know, a black person and an Asian person. You know, like, there are a lot of times where it feels like it's checkbox. And that's when it's unfortunate, right? Like, you know, we were talking last week about Knocking the Cabin, which I apologize. I shot a review, or I thought I shot a review, and when I went to edit it, it wasn't in my stuff. So I'm gonna reshoot that, hopefully get that up this week. But, you know, like I said, when I wanted to go see that movie with my friend Joe, you know, he's a gay man. You have a gay couple that are front and center in that one, and he just talked about how wonderful it was to see something that was honest and true to, you know, both that community, but also to the story, right? Like the purpose that Shyamalan has, and I think it might have been two gay men in the book, but like the purpose of those characters being where they are is not just to check a box. It's to push a narrative forward. And when you use a character, or you use representation within a character to push narrative forward, to do the things that make what you're watching special, and it's not just there to check a box, it means a lot to a lot of people. And you see Kayvon Woodard, or is that, I want to make sure I got his name right, yeah, Kayvon Woodard. You see him talk about how, like, I mean, this is an 8-year-old, maybe 9 or 10, but, you know, in the show, like, Sam is 8, Kayvon looks like he's like a legit little kid. You see him going like, I'm deaf and Sam's deaf, and I sign and Sam signs, and like that's important to see, that like people that kid can relate to, right? Like that's the thing you never get to see when people talk about representation. You never get to see the people that shit means, right? So like when it's not your thing, you very rarely, you know, at least inside of like something that you're watching, or if you're, you know, if you're out like in the world, obviously you can see those things. I went to Black Panther. I saw what that movie meant to people. But like that's something that you like when you hear people talking about it, or it's brought up, or you know it's presented in a show or something. You don't get to see what that means to someone, and you literally get to see how much being a part of this show and having that character be deaf means to that little kid and that community coming directly from him. Like that shit, oh man, dude, like that one hit me. Like I was already on the emotional roller coaster by then, but like when I talk about representation, that's what I'm talking about, man. Like the look of joy of one, not only that character existed, but the fact that like that kid knows that he gets to bring that kid to life for all these other kids. Like that's why I would like to see stories that aren't mine. I've seen stories that are mine my whole life, and like, you know, when it's done correctly, it can have such an unbelievable impact. And like Mazin says, opting to tweak it, right? You know, like, Neil, this is a really big departure, and like one of the best parts about that stretch is Ellie and Sam's relationship, and they, you know, they joke around a lot, you know, like that Sam is, I think, the only person in the game that offers a joke other than Ellie. Like they're going back and forth and he throws one in. So it's a big deviation from the game, but the choice isn't, hey, you know what, let's make Sam deaf because that would be great. Like, let's get a deaf kid. It's no. Think about how much more reliant that makes Sam on Henry, and how much more Henry has to protect that kid. And then, like, when you're getting into the perspective things that we were talking about, right? Like, the way that Druckmann's able to humanize a villain by showing us some of that stuff this time around. Like, you understand where Kathleen and Perry come from. And we start the episode, you know, kind of bouncing between Henry and Sam and Kathleen and Perry, and you see Kathleen directly talking to these collaborators and going through, like, were you happy that you ratted on your neighbors so that we could be, you know, raped and tortured or whatever, so that you could get an apple? And all of a sudden in that moment you're like, damn, you know what? Like, she's about to do bad guy things, but I completely understand where she is coming from and why she feels the way she feels. But then you flip it, and you know, that's right. What was Joel's first reaction? Rat, you're a rat. But then, like, Sam had leukemia. The only people that, and, like, you know, like Kathleen says to Henry, maybe he was supposed to die. But and maybe, right? But if he didn't die because he got the meds, in a world where there is no infection, Sam wouldn't have died. He would have gotten the treatment he needed and would have been fine. So, like, again, like, just shift, even within stuff that's not directly talked, shift your perspective. Think about things. It's one of the things I love about when I watch TV and movies, is, like, if you get enough access to a character, you know, just for your own sake, like, shift it the other way and see what, and like, watching Mazin and Druckmann do it and have the actual conversations inside of the episode, like, was freaking genius. And when when Sam says, like, what am I supposed to do? My kid brother's got leukemia, and that medicine is rare at this point, you know? And what else am I supposed to do? Like, the only way Fedra is going to give me something that's rare is if I give him something that's big. And that's what, like, I love having Joel kind of be the audience perspective during that ride, right? Where it's like, we witnessed what Kathleen's talking about, so when Joel responds the way he does, like, we get it, right? We're with Joel. Oh, like, and again, that's one of those things, like, that doesn't come up in the game because we don't know anything about that stuff, right? Because they're all out, you know, outside the characters that we directly interact with in the cinematics. Everybody else is just nameless. So, you know, kind of adding those things in and layering it, you know, like, our initial reaction is kind of like, whoa, what? Like, Sam's a collaborator. But when you understand what's at stake, man, you blame the guy, you know, and the genius of that story, you know, the way that Druckmann crafted it in the game, it does exactly what Lamar Johnson is talking about here in the show too, right? Where it's like, this is that reflection where, you know, I think there's a soft, it's one of these things like we were talking about, like Ellie and Joel are starting to bond a little bit. Joel is starting to open up a little bit. And he's got a real soft spot for Ellie, right? Like, she's like, oh, I'll change his mind because he knows he's going to go, Mr. Grumpy, and I'm going to ask him 1,000 times, and then he'll, you know, he'll say yes. But so, like, you can tell that soft spot is developing, and seeing Sam for that stretch and the way that he's interacting with Ellie and getting to see Ellie get to be a kid in a world where she really has probably never gotten that chance before. You know, it's why he changes his mind to let Sam and Henry in, because he knows it would be good for Ellie, and I think it would be good. He knows it would be good for him, right? Like, seeing how Henry reacts in situations, because he's a little bit younger. Like, man, like, look, let's chill. Let him have some time to play. Like, it's something where for Joel, he's starting to get it, you know. And you're just coming off of what you teed up in the first episode, or the last week's episode, where, you know, he's starting to develop this relationship with this little girl. And then to flip it, where all of a sudden it's like, man, even when you think, like, you're getting someplace, and you're, you know what, maybe after all this time, I can let my guard down to more than just Tess. And boom, the kid's bit. Like, what that will do for Joel. Like I said, the relationship between Joel and Ellie is so fascinating because Joel can turn off so quickly, right? Like he can flip that switch because he doesn't want to relive stuff that he's relived, but at the same time, what choice does he have? And it'll be fun to watch Pedro kind of digest if you're gonna be riding with this kid, like maybe I shouldn't be so hard nosed. Maybe I should care a little bit. You know, it's that natural bonding that's happening. But like you'll see Joel pull back sometimes when he's starting to get too close because something like Sam and Henry is that reminder that like we don't win. Like there is no winning. So I mean, all of that stuff that's so important in the game is represented so well here. And like I said, I mean, adaptation wise, like I get that we didn't get any clickers or stalkers down in the tunnels, but what we get at the end, that little 5-10 minute stretch where all them zombies just start coming out and how fast they came out of that hole, right? Because it was like, we've seen the trailer, you see the freaking bloater coming out that man, and you're like, yeah, get me in. And I wasn't expecting like 40 zombies out right away. That was great, you know, and it really does. It shows you like, oh, why did humanity lose? Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, we've run into like little tiny packs of zombies out here, right? Like, oh, humanity could this deep into this thing 20 plus years in, like that is the fate eventually for everybody, man. Like you get a horde that's big enough, how you stop them, right? Like that was fantastic, you know. And like I love that we get to enjoy all of that before the emotional punches start coming, because they're executed really, really well. And obviously, I've gained some new watchers recently. One, I mean, the episode. I mean, if you've been watching anything recently, you know that I'm an emotional person. I certainly cried for Bill and Frank. But again, one of the other things I was talking about last week, like that's not the sad episode, man. Like that, those are happy tears. This is the sad episode. And last year, so a year this past November, so like the November before this November, I lost my sister. So it was one of those things where it was like I knew what was coming, right? Like I knew what this episode was going to be. I was hyping it. It was a big episode. It's an important episode, specifically for Joel and Ellie. And like I knew what was coming, but what I didn't know was coming was like the warm up, like emotional punches of having Kathleen go back to her childhood home and seeing like she shared her room with her brother. Like that's like when I was a kid, me and my sister Britt, we shared a room upstairs. It's the biggest room in the house. So my mom was like, we'll just put both of you up here. And instead of painting it like blue on one side and pink on the other, it was like half and half, which I think I said earlier. But it was like one of those just, and then hearing Kathleen talk about like their dynamic and their relationship and knowing that you're talking about someone who now is no longer here. Like that was just hitting. And then knowing like what Henry has to do. And, you know, it's one of those, like, it's television, and you don't, I didn't necessarily know that, like, I figured, considering what the moment means, I knew that they were going to go there. I did not think we were going to see Sam get shot like that. Like, and it's one of those where, I don't think that scene hits if you don't. Like, that is the, like, if we were to rewind and playback like that moment for me, like I was building to it, and then that hit and it was over. I did not think that we were gonna see that, but it's one of those things where the execution of it is perfect, right? Like that is a split second. I'm making a decision all of a sudden, right? It's like I'm gonna grab the gun first. I'm gonna keep Joel off, and then like one more scream. Yeah, like it's not even a. It's one of those things where like Henry doesn't even think about it. It's just reaction. And it's crazy when you layer in that Henry, you know, is like, I've never killed anyone directly, right? You know, with like a gun. And I think he also says like he's never shot a gun either. Like he's got one, I ain't got no ammo. And like that reaction, the first person that he does really kill is his little brother. And Lamar Johnson, like I know he said in the inside the episode, like he struggled to shoot that scene because of how much Sam means to Henry, and you know, obviously bonding with Kayvon, or Kevon. I'm somewhere in there. I'm so bad with names. But like, you know, talking about like how hard that scene is, he nailed it. Like it is like spot on. Like that's one of those, like, you guys will have already seen it, but like as much as I don't want to relive that sequence, lining up Lamar Johnson's performance with what Henry, like how that plays out in the game, like it's a tough one to swallow, you know, but it's a tough one to swallow in the game. I remember the first time playing it, like you don't think necessarily that like these two characters just ride solo the whole time, or you know, similar to Bill, where like, all right, Bill gets you to the next place, see you later, Bill, bye. And I'm not gonna lie, like I know how important that section is, but there's like a 1/8%, like, all right, hey, you know what, Bill didn't technically die in the game, maybe we're trading Bill for like Sam, or like I figured one of the two of them was gonna die, but I don't think I wanted to live that like live through that in live action, because it was tough, and I was right, it was very tough to live through, but it's such an important story beat, and it hits so hard because of how fantastic Lamar Johnson and Kevon Woodard are. I mean, they're great, and I love that you get that opening bit with them first before we meet up with Joel and Ellie, and kind of see them moving through the city to get to that point, and then utilizing that to literally shift perspective on something we've already seen. Like in an episode where you're talking about perspectives, and it's a 2-episode arc of perspectives, right? Where it's like you can humanize and understand your villain, and they can still be a villain because they'll make bad guy decisions. But at the same time, flip it, right? Like that's what Henry says, right? It's like, I mean, I guess I am a bad guy. Like I made a bad guy decision, but like, what would you do in that scenario, right? And it's the wonderful thing that they pull off with this, is like the amount of times you're in a spot, and no matter who you're riding with, you go, what would I do in that situation? And if like you think about it, like there is, and to play with perspective shifts both in the episode, in the narrative inside of the episode, and from scenes that we had already seen, and just shifting where you're looking at. Like all of a sudden, like after Joel finishes shooting in, you know, episode 4, and he's looking around, I'm not thinking that he spots Henry, and very, very much he might not have spotted Henry, because there's probably some sort of a reflection on that glass and he's a little bit over the way, but like from Henry's perspective, oh shit, he just saw me. So like to see Mason and Druckmann play with that throughout the whole episode was just fantastic. And then everything, like I said, everything with the zombies was great. And hitting like those small beats where it's like we're about to have Sam starting to turn, and it's one of those like on the backside when you absorb what Henry has to do and how that whole sequence plays out. Like the counter, the flip of it is the little girl that gets into the car. You know, the little girl that ends up killing Kathleen. That's Sam's fate. And like seeing the zombie kid form, like you can't wish that on a kid. You can't wish that on anybody, to be honest, man. You want to fucking spit out of your face. The last thing I'll say before we get into how I scored this thing on the non-spoiler, if you haven't seen the non-spoiler, I really wish they would have let Jeffrey Pierce talk about his exit from the show. It was one of those where, like I had said about halfway through the episode, where like we're doing the perspective shifts, I'm like, I hope Kathleen and Jeffrey don't die. Like Kathleen and Jeffrey, Kathleen and Perry, really hope that they don't die, because I like both Melanie Linsky and Jeffrey Pierce, and it's one of these things. Depending on where they end up deciding to go in season 2, like those are characters you could theoretically come back around to. But then to hear like Melanie Linsky talk about maybe it was for the best, because like things wouldn't have been great for Kathleen after that night had she survived. But Perry, like, I want to know, like, I was hoping Pierce is going to talk in the inside of the episode and be like, oh no, I volunteered for that one, right? Like, you're going to bring me into this world, give me the chance to experience it in 3 dimensions, like he was talking about last week after bringing Tommy to life in the video game. Like, I can see Pierce, like, going to Druckmann and Mason and being like, yo, we all know that you're going to have this bloater kill somebody in a really horrific way, because, like, the bloaters kill you in horrific ways in the games. And, like, as soon as he started moving in, I was like, oh shit, he's gonna be the one. And I like that they kept their distance, right? Because one, it allows you to take in all of the mayhem that's happening around one in particular moment that, like, you're focused on. Like, I love when you can do something like that, where it's like you could have come in close and really gotten gory, but I think there's something about the setting around that happening really popped. And, like, to see the bloater go in and, like, not just rip his head off, but go, like, like, and pull. You know me. Now, I guess if you guys are new, you might not know me, but I'm a massive horror guy, and I love myself body horror, gore. I'm always fascinated, specifically in practical effects, to see the ways people can come up with, like, making things look realistic or making things not realistic, and how it plays inside of horror stories. And look, I mean, you rip a dude's head in half off of his body, you know, probably good to go CGI and maybe wide out a little bit, you know, because I don't think it's not a necessary thing to get as gory as you can get in the game. Which, by the way, like, if you haven't played the game, I know, like, I don't want to, like, what we witnessed at the end of that episode, that's how it works in the game, man. Like, yeah, and you saw Joel with all them headshots, which also, you want to talk about adaptation stuff. Hold on, wait, but I'm getting distracted. See, now I've already lost where I was going with the other point. But, like, it makes sense to go with the visual effect. Like I said, I like the way that it was presented, and I could see Pierce being like, "Yo, let me be that guy," right? Like, I could see him being really excited for that moment. But and now I've lost the other one. Oh man. That adaptation was pitch perfect, man. I mean, like I said, we sacrificed the sewers and tunnels to get that scene in the suburb, and, like, I'd forgotten, like, having not played it recently, like, I played it recently, but not that section, like, right before. You know what I'm talking about. It's one of those, like, I forgot that was part of this stretch where, like, there is a sniper and, like, you have that come, and then you get the exact mission where it's like Joel's got to sneak around. It's probably about 10 to 12 dudes you got to take out on the ground before you get there. But then same thing, like, when you're going up the stairs, you don't know if that guy knows you're in there, if he's going to swing or not. And the play, like, it's an old man, and Joel's just like, kick me the gun, stay up here for an hour, that's all it's got to be. And for a second, you're thinking maybe this is just, like, some random dude, and because they're outside of the city. And then Kathleen buzzes in, and like I said, that stretch is it's in daylight, but as you get up to the sniper perch, hunters start coming, but then right behind the hunters are all these zombies, and it's Joel's job to kind of pick them off as the 3 move around. And then during that stretch, you know, you don't see it, but Sam, you know, is in a spot where, like, you know, he's close and he gets bit. But, like, the recreation of that was so spot on, and just everything that they adapted from this. I mean, like, there is so much content in this episode that's pulled right out of the game. So yeah, so if you saw the non-spoiler, you know, I gave the adaptation a 5 out of 5, and this is my second episode as a whole, 5 out of 5. This episode is perfect. Like, this was the episode for me personally that I had kind of pegged as, like, this is gonna be the episode, not knowing that we would get this Bill and Frank story that, like, just became this one kind of special individual moment inside of television. But when you look at the story, and specifically for Ellie and Joel, this is the one that like really impacts them as characters and them as a duo. And Druckmann and Mason crushed it. I mean, the adaptation is perfect. The way it's shot, like I said, Jeremy Webb, who directed this episode and the last episode, him and his DPs and his stunt peeps, man, they crush these 2 episodes. Anytime there's action, the action is tight. It is intense, fast, and it's shot really well. That whole driving sequence in episode 4 was great. Like I said, that zombie bit at the end, man, like, oh, you were wondering what was rumbling under the ground. It's not just a bloater. It's a colony of people that were pushed underground. Or I guess the zombies were pushed underground. The people just hid out underground. And that too, like to drop the Ish thing in there, man, like that was great. Ish is a story where between the stretch with all the houses, which I think comes first, and then the tunnel with the, it could be vice versa, whatever order it is. Between those 2 locations, you run into notes. So you're reading notes from this guy Ish in different houses that you're searching. Like he talks about, like, oh man, like you see one note where it's like, oh, we found this place to go underground, and then you see other notes about like how things ended, and then you get underground and you start to piece together. You're like, oh my gosh, as you read other stories, like that was the guy that was over in the house with the other guy. Oh, and it's one of those, like, for me, it's probably the most memorable of all of like the little pieces of paper you pick up and read. So to see that in there, you were just like, oh my gosh. And Ish is the one who, after they were sealed inside, goes outside, gets bit and comes back. Or maybe it's one of the kids. Shoot, see, now I hate when I play it right before I know for real. But it's one of those things where like those stories tell you about who went out, who came back in, and how the infection is able to get into this community that's kind of sealed off in this town. Yeah, I mean, everything they did in this episode for me was perfection. I mean, like I said, from the directing and the writing and the execution of what we're watching on screen to the performances. I mean, we spend a lot of time with Lamar Johnson and Kevon Woodard, and they're both absolutely tremendous. Melanie Linsky, Jeffrey Pierce just kept doing what they were doing from the last episode and like keeping it interesting. You know, I like the little spots when we get time with them. And then Pedro and Bella, I mean, we know, but like watching specifically how they ingest being around Henry and Sam. You know, you see Joel like trying to figure out, like right from jump, when Sam's got the gun on him, like, can I trust these people? What's the best deal? Hey, you know what? We got through the night. Everybody's fed. Nobody died. Let's go our separate ways. To getting to it, you know what? You should come with us. We'll take you to Wyoming if you want to go that way. We'll ride as like a little band. To taking in the fact that, like, doesn't matter what you do in this world, you're going to lose. Having to bury those bodies. And then the big one, when he sees what Ellie left, you know, the I'm sorry, and how he's ingesting that. And then Ellie, I mean, the way Bella is able to go to those emotional places and spin on a dime and come out of them, just absolutely tremendous. And again, this is another one where, like, you see the impact both in Bella's face, but just her body language, the way she walks over and tosses Joel's pack, and then it's just like, which way is west? So she could start walking. Like, absolutely crushed it, man. Phenomenal episode. Everything I could have hoped for. Like this, like I said, this is the one I was waiting for. Outside of like finale stuff, and the Tommy stretch will be fun. I have every element of this game is so enjoyable. But this was the story that, like, coming into this series, I was like, wherever Sam and Henry pop up, that episode's gonna be big, and that episode's gonna be hard. And it was, and I appreciate the fact, like, I'm sure there'll be some people that freak out that not only did they kill a kid, like, I think there's a period of time when I was younger where, like, I don't think you could kill a kid on television or in a movie. I've noticed that it's been a more prevalent thing, not often, but like willing to go to those places a little bit more. But I'm sure there'll be some people that are very turned off by watching an 8-year-old child get shot in the head. But as a fan of the game and the source material and how impactful and important that moment is, I'm glad Druckmann and Mason stuck to their guns. That should destroy you. If it doesn't destroy you, question your own humanity. But like that should destroy you. That is the purpose, or one of the purposes of that moment, is like from an audience perspective, you need to feel that and feel that through multiple layers, because it is going to resonate with your main two characters for the rest of the season. And for the rest of their story, really. Like that's not something that you can walk away from. And it's one of these where, like, as a viewer, feels like the first time we're experiencing Ellie have to deal with any of these things. But there is going to be backstory for Ellie that's coming at some point, where, like, you're going to see, like, this little girl has been dealing with these types of things and, like, this kind of weight. Like, you don't end up orphaned in an apocalypse if you're not. And I just think Bella is crushing it, and everybody involved is crushing it. The show is so damn good. I've talked for a very long time. I'm gonna shut up. It's your turn, man. I'm so excited. You know me. I love talking to you guys down in the comments. People who've been commenting, leaving likes, the support around these episodes that I've been getting, specifically episode 4 or 3, obviously was a big one. But like last episode, this episode, hopefully. I'm loving interacting with you guys. So I want to know what you're thinking. Like, if you've watched the game, if you've played the games, did you think they would commit to everything they committed to here? What did you think of the adaptation? Did you think the trade-off of, like, not getting any zombies down below was worth how they came into it at the end? What did you think of that sequence? Is that the zombie moment you've been waiting for? What did you think of the bloater? And same questions to you if you didn't play the game. How was that, taking that in for the first time from a zombie side? And then where do you fall on the Henry and Sam story and how it's played? Is it one of those, like, I'd be interested to see if that scene rubs anybody the wrong way, or if that scene is as effective as I think that scene is. Just anything you guys are thinking, man. Good, bad, indifferent on The Last of Us, Season 1, Episode 5, Endure and Survive. Let me know if the tears are rolling, if they weren't, anything you got. Put it down below. I look forward to talking to you guys down there. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new, you want to come hang out and see me anytime we're talking movies, TV, trailer, reactions, you want to be here 9 days from now when we get back to Sundays for this show. I heard someone talk, I think the finale falls on the Oscars. There's part of me that's just like, I know it's Sunday on HBO, but like maybe you could just make it Fridays all the time so we don't have to wait 9 days. Always the bad trade-off on the short week up front, long on the back. But you want to be here to see my other reactions, see if there are any other episodes in this season that make me roll some tears. There probably will be. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm just an emotional sap, and my real world life impacts me all the time, and when shows are done well, they impact me too. So if you want to see if any more tears roll, I'm a consistent ugly crier, you could say. You want to find out if that's a thing. You just like the vibe. Maybe you're loving how we're mashing up like the video and the video game. I don't know, man. You just like the analysis, you just like the vibe. You want to show a little of a sport you haven't. Hey, come join C-Maniac Nation, man. We're having a little party over here with the Last of Us. Finally got over 3,000. Thank you again to everybody who has helped in that regard. But yeah, man, I love interacting with people and love talking about movies and TV. So if that's your vibe, that's something you're looking for, come say what's up. Subscribe, hit that bell. They're over there. And until next time, man, for the C-Man's Cinema Sit Down, I've been the C-Man. I'm signing off. Peace. Oh, you guys are still here. You snuck up on me. You must be looking for more of this guy. Well, I got 2 video options for you, man. Right up here and right over here. And if you want all those C-Man goodies, well, hey, come join the squad right on over there, and I'll catch you on the next one.